Hey everyone, it's Sherry Johnson. I am a national speaker, coach, and consultant in the real estate industry. So glad to see you are on today watching this. And today's topic is one of my favorites. It's managing client expectations with sellers. And this is always an eye-opener. So I want you to realize that I'm not going to change the way you're doing your business. However, I will challenge you on the way we're communicating. Bad news isn't bad news if it's delivered on time, right? Bad news is not bad news if it's delivered on time. When it's not delivered on time, that's when people get upset. That's when people have unmanaged expectations or they're disappointed. So what I'm going to try to teach you today is some of the conversations that you're having with your sellers you could have, instead of having them later in the process when it's live and it's happening and everybody's emotionally charged, we're going to move those conversations up to a conversation that happens at the beginning of the process. This will make your life better. You're literally going to change the way you handle home inspections. It will change the way you look at an entire process with a seller. And I believe that you will love the business again, because I know from my experience that you could work forever with someone and feel like they're never happy, feel like they just don't appreciate what you're doing. Some of the conversations you're having are happening in real time, meaning we get an offer and it's the first time they're hearing that, oh, well, an offer could come in at 88%. If I had had that conversation before the offer came in, okay, before it was live, before it was real, before everybody's charged up and emotional, oh my gosh, I'm really going to sell my house. If I have that conversation at the time of the listing appointment, then I'm prepared for the information when it happens and it does come in lower than I expected. So let's start right away and mindset this, that I'm going to prepare people and manage their expectations. That's the first key to this. So how can I do that with a seller? And today I'm just going to, in this video, talk about and cover how we can do that with pricing and how we can do that with home inspection. Okay, so those are the two we're going to cover right now. With pricing, obviously, if we've set the price, we know that the seller has an expectation of what the offer is going to come in at. So if we've covered the negotiation strategy in your listing presentation thoroughly, they will not be surprised when an offer comes in at 85% on a $350 list price and it comes in at $298 or $300. They won't be upset because they'll say, oh, Sherry told us that this is what would happen. We're not going to be offended. So we can minimize, okay, and marginalize some of this information that's happening when it's happening live. And then it infuriates everybody, right? Everyone gets offended and they get mad. And now you're trying to manage that. So my advice to you is have the conversation up front. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, FYI, this is what's going to happen once we get an offer. We may get an offer that comes in at 88% of list price and they freak out. In that moment, let them freak out then and let them say to you, Sherry, I'm not selling my house for that. And I'm going to say, I know that. We're not going to sell the house for that, but that's where the offer may come in at. And we're not going to be offended. In fact, we're going to be ecstatic that we have an offer. And then we're going to counter every offer that comes in. So this will eliminate all kinds of emotional drama that happens. And it happens because people are emotional. So let's take the conversation, instead of giving it to them when it comes in and it's live, and then we just had who knows where they came from, right? To sit down and talk to you about the sale of their $350,000 house. So if they've already been prepared by you when the offer is presented to them and they see 320, okay, they're going to say, oh, well, this is better than you said. It actually could have come in less. So now their expectations are managed instead of crisis managing, where everybody's running around upset and offended. Okay, we don't want anyone to be offended. We want people to be calm. We want them to be educated. We want them to know what to expect. That's what managing expectations is all about. So tell them up front they might get an 88% offer. It's probably not going to happen. When the 92% offer comes in, you look fantastic, and they're going to say, wow, this is great. We were expecting possibly lower, okay? That's the way to win in a pricing situation and managing expectations with your seller. All right, I promise you it will work. And secondly, I'll add this just because we're talking about sellers and being offended. When a seller says, I'm offended, if they do say that, your best rebuttal to that is to say, you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm more offended by the 45 other people that looked at your house and didn't write an offer on it. And you kind of get this silence that happens because they realize that that is actually more offensive than an offer that came in. So we're going to work with this offer. If you've prepared them ahead of time, it will be smooth sailing. If you prepare them ahead of time, you will have a much easier conversation each time you have an offer come in and you're negotiating. So do that and you will be thrilled at the way the process will work for you because you will tee it up for a great rest of the conversation, and everyone will be managed properly and they will thank you, and it will really be incredibly value added to them. Secondly, on the home inspection resolution, I will say, first of all, call it a resolution. The word resolution implies that we're going to resolve. It's a positive word. I use words on purpose, and I love saying home inspection resolution. We're going to resolve this. That's a very positive, influencing word. So in the beginning, at the listing appointment, we could say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're going to have a home inspection done in your house. In that, there may be things that we have to pay for to keep the deal together, okay? Obviously, whoever ended the last negotiation and got their sort of price will want to have certain things done. So if we need to do a couple of items just to keep the deal together, we're going to be reasonable, okay? I can manage the expectations of the home inspection process if I have the conversation up front with the seller, if I explain how much radon would cost to put a system in, okay, instead of explaining it when it's happening and they're freaking out because they didn't know they were going to have to pay $1,200 for a radon system. So if you have these conversations ahead of time, much easier through the process. Again, managing their expectations, giving them information like, by the way, if we have radon, you may have to put a system in. It may cost $2,000, $1,500 to $2,000. My advice, that way, when it happens, they're not surprised. They were expecting it. If it doesn't happen, they're thrilled. I would suggest giving a seller a range of what they could expect. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you may have to spend $2,500 in home inspection repairs or more. I don't know what's wrong with your house. None of us do at this point. So plan on about $2,500, or if it's a much bigger house, you say $4,000, just in case. Then when the home inspection resolution paper comes back and the buyer is asking for $1,200, they're happy because it's less than what they expected. Do you follow me? So the idea is manage these expectations about the home inspection and explain how the process is going to go, including that these people are going to be in your house for about 3 to 6 hours doing the home inspection. So have all these conversations up front. It will prove to be very, very successful in managing client expectations down the road when you're trying to have future conversations. I look forward to hearing your success stories, and as always, have a great listing and sales week. I'll see you soon.